Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Julie. Today I'm joining the creative design team where we are sharing projects with products we haven't used quite just yet. And believe it or not, I have not used the Evergreen paper collection, so I thought this would be a great opportunity to crack this one open and share a double page layout with you today. Now we're going to jump right in here into the die cutting, and my recommendation is to die cut as many little triangles as you can on both the dark side and the light side of the cardstock. You can see here that I flipped my cardstock over and they fit in the negative space, and I still have a little bit of space. So when you're cutting your trees, if you cut yourself a full piece, which is 4 1/4 by 12, cut as many as you can fill on your sheet, because as you can see here, I'm just starting this layout. I've got a rough idea that I've sketched out right here, and I'm going to add some trees at the top, at the bottom, and on the side. And I want to have a variety of colors. We are going to stamp these using pine ink, so if I mess one up, I'll have extras. All right, so now that we've done the prep work with cutting all of our little trees, the other thing that I'll be using for this layout is this stamp set right here. So I'm using the stamp set and the dies. So basically now what I want to do is I want to stamp these images using pine ink. And you can see that I've got a nice generous pile. I'll probably need to cut a few more of the larger ones. Inevitably, it doesn't matter how many I cut, I always run out of that one color that I really want. We're going to re-ink those little trees with pine ink. And during the winter, I find that my ink pads get a little dry, so I'm going to re-ink that really quickly, and I'm going to show you. So basically, I give this a good shake. Anything that's liquid, you should give it a good shake. And then I'm going to show you, and hopefully you'll be able to see it. So I run it across my pad. And do you see how it's just soaking into the pad? Like that little line is disappearing quite quickly. So that's an indication to me that this was dry. And then I go the other way for good measure. And then I know that my ink pad is going to be really nice and juicy, and I'll be able to stamp really well. You can see that all of that ink has absorbed into the pad right here. And if you think you're putting too much, the little droplet is going to stay on top if this is completely saturated, and it's not. So I'm going to go on a diagonal here. I haven't done this in a while, and I've been using this color quite a bit. The other thing, or the other indication, is that when you put it in, if it takes a long time to soak in, then you're done. So you can see that I did 4 passes on this, and now it's going to be really nice and saturated, and we're going to be able to really have a good stamped impression. So that is the benefit of using re-inkers. So these are brand new. As you can see, I have not used them. And the reason why I wanted to stick to one color is that I'll be able to stamp basically one of each, right? So I'm going to take Seabrook, Pine, Rosemary. So for each of the stamp set, you're going to stamp 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little trees. And then you will have as many as you want for your layout, and possibly another layout. So I'm kind of seasoning my stamp. I'm rubbing it to get that residue off. In case you're wondering, sometimes they don't stamp really well. So let's give it a test. Now that my ink pad is nice and saturated, I think I'm gonna need a few stamps. Yeah, see, that didn't go. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna squish it in. I don't want to squish it in too much because I've just inked the ink pad and it's a fine detail. Oh, I'm on here, that's not gonna stamp. But do you see what I mean? If I squish too far into my ink pad because I've just inked it, it's not gonna be nice. So let's just, I've got my little cushion here underneath. I'm gonna let it soak in. And that looks pretty good to me. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do that with all of them. Same process, like I'm really inking up my stamp. The reason why I waited to do my last one right here, which is the lightest shade, is because I wanted to get a feel for the stamp, because if there's a mistake, it's going to show up on this one and not so much on the ones that are darker. So we're going to make sure that we're nice and straight. And I don't think I am, but that's okay. All right, we're going to push that in. That looks pretty good. So you can see that I'm a little bit off. I can trim that if I want. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stamp all of those, and I'll come back and show you how to put the layout together. By this point right here in my process, you can see that I've stamped all of my little images, and I did go ahead and I cut 3 of these just because, and then I realized, and it's the same thing for this one here, that there's actually 3 options for the smaller ones. So for these ones here, I didn't do the one with the little dots, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but the one with the little dots I didn't do. Maybe I'll go do it later. But for the tiny little ones, you'll see that there's 3 little trees, and if you're having a hard time stamping, change the size of your block. Like if you're using a really big block, it's going to be really hard to stamp on these really tiny little images. You have a little bit more control when your block is smaller. So let me show you. So right here. And that looks really cute. So I'm going to do that for all of them. And they're a little bit off. I might trim them, but again, we're doing some treatments. This one's not going to be good, I don't think. Yeah, that one's a little bit crooked, but that's okay. That's why we have so many of these options, right? Always start with the darker ones because you get your groove. You get to see exactly how to line it up. See, by the 4th one, I kind of have an idea of where it needs to go. And by this one, it's pretty darn centered. So I just thought I'd share that with you. Like, just make sure that you use a smaller block and you'll be more successful when you're stamping small little images. I'm going to continue on this process, and then we'll do the layout. We're going to do the base pages here, and we're going to use these 2. These are going to be our base pages, and we're going to hollow them out because I don't want to waste all of this really pretty paper. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is cut off the zip strip, just like so. And then this here, we're going to hollow out 3 sides, right? We've done this before, so we're going to put our paper at the 1 inch mark, so 11 if you want, 11 or 1 inch. And from the bottom, you're going to go up to the 1 inch. So you're going to go up 1 inch, then you're going to turn. You're going to go in at the 1 inch, at the 11, whichever works for you, 1 inch, 11. From the bottom, I'm going to put my blade into the 11. I'm going to go up to 1 inch, 1 inch. This is 11. It's just because it's cut, right? We're going to go at the bottom here. I'm going to put it where we last cut, which is at the 11, and we're going to go up all the way. So we're going to save this really good piece. I'm going to do that for both sides. Let's do them the same way. So if I show you the back side, I'm going to show you the back side right here. Do you see that? So if we want the longer strip of the back, we have to put the long strip vertically. We put this at 1 inch. Okay. I just wanted to show you that. Depends on how you do this, but you should have 2 pieces that look identical. If you don't stress out. For the next piece right here, because it's glitter, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to start off, and I'm writing it here so that you can pick up on that. You need to cut it at 10.5 by 11.25 because I want to see 3/4 of an inch all around, but these are joining in the center. I'm going to bring back my trimmer, and we're going to do the outside cuts first. So 10.5. Just make sure I'm nice and straight. 10.5. So that was 10.5 by 11.25. So this piece measures 10.5 by 11.25. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to push it to the 1 inch mark, right? But you want to do the 1 inch mark on the long side. So on the side that measures 11.25, you're going to put that down because we're going to start that first cut, right? So that first cut is the long cut, and we're going to leave 1 inch. So this measures 11.25. You're going to go down to 10.25. So slowly go down to 10.25, and then you're going to flip that at the 1 inch, right? Just like so. Just want to make sure I'm nice and straight. And then I'm going to go at the 1 inch, and I'm going to leave myself, so this is 10.5. I'm going to go 9.5. 9.5. And then I'm going to rotate and go 1 inch. Right at 1 and go all the way down. So I've just saved all of this, right? Let me put this on like so. You can see that that looks really nice. Got my second piece. Okay. You can see that this is coming together really nicely. The next piece that I want is the music sheet. And that one I'm going to give like a 1/4 of an inch border. For the next piece right here, there is a direction. Whichever side you took off the zip strip, that's the way it goes. You'll see that there's little F's in here. Now, I don't think it would make that much of a difference, but if you notice them, there is a direction. So let's cut that the right way. Now, this piece here was 10.5 by 11.25, and I want this piece to be, I want to show off 1/4 of an inch of that glitter paper. So 1/4 of an inch times 2, my piece is going to be 10. And then if I'm taking out 1/4 of an inch, just at the end, the length is going to be 11. So I'm going to start with the 11, right? And I'm going to go times 10. And the reason for that is because there's a direction here, okay? So we're going to go 11 inches. We're going to cut that out. And then I'm going to go 10. I'm going to flip that over. And I'm going to cut that at 10. Just like so. And you will see that there is a direction, so you have to be careful when you cut that. Okay, so those are your 2 pieces that you need, and these are our base pages. I want to add my photos. I'm going to have a photo here on this side, and then I'm going to have 3 here, and these are going to be tight. I'm going to have to trim down my photos because they're not going to fit across my page once I do all of the matting. So here's the fun part. Let's bring in our trees. And I want to start with, so do you see these ones here? I'm actually matching them up. Let's just go like so. So the bottom row is all of these ones here with the triangles, and you're gonna need 5 for the bottom row. So the bottom row starts with dark, and then we're gonna go rosemary, and then glitter. Do you see what I'm doing here? And then we're gonna go dark and light. I'm gonna move this to the side because I'm gonna add this. The next ones are going up, and these are the ones that have the little, this design in here. I tried to mix up the design and I found that it was too much. So there we go. And then you can see that I'm gonna have to move everything down. But there's my tree. Isn't that cool? All right, so we have our nice tree. We're gonna have our photo that's gonna go slightly above it. Now that's the layout we're gonna do together, and I think that it looks a lot of fun. Like, it's really, really pretty. Before I adhere anything down at this point, I like to take a picture. Take a picture and see if everything looks right, and I think it does. And I also want to add a little bit of a treatment on these trees right here. These have all been stamped with pine ink, and I'm going to distress all of the edges with pine ink, and then we're going to add a little bit of shimmer and shine. So I want to show you a couple of options to do your splatters. Some of you have this paint right here or this one right here. If you don't, some of you have purchased the Dana Wakley sprays. Those will look great as well. Just make sure to shake these really, really well so that until you hear the little ball at the bottom, like I haven't used these in a while, we're gonna use this one. And I wanna use the silvery white. So let me just pop this out. This one, and I think I'm going to use this one right here. Now the Dana Wakley is definitely more yellowy gold. See, it's more like this color, but I think I want to have it one of these two. I'll take them both out. And if you have these, this is number 901. This is number 903. And this is number 906. I'm going to reach for my fan brush. If you don't have a fan brush, I would use a small tip brush to add a lot of splatters. So I'm going to move these down, and this guy here didn't get the little distressing on him. So let's add a little bit of ink. So again, the trick with these paints right here is you have to let them sit for at least a minute or something like that. And you'll know it's ready when it's kind of like, when you kind of put your brush in it, it's really, really creamy looking. I think that that looks good. Let's see what color that I get. Oh, that's a nice light gold. I'm going to go into the darker gold because some of my trees, especially the lighter ones, you don't see it that much. Entirely up to you how much splatter you add. But I think that this looks good. So I'm going to move these out of the way, and I'm just going to take the gold off. So you'll notice that I did the gold first, and then I'm going to do the white because I want the white to show up more. And I allowed this to sit, and you can see that it's gonna look good. Like, it's nice and creamy, and I'm just really making sure that my brush is saturated. And we're gonna add some of the white. So I kind of messed up this one. I'm gonna redo this one. But do you see where the water, I dropped some water in my splatter box and it kind of ruined the top of my tree. So I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to redo that. let's finish the assembly of this double page layout. I think that it's going to look really, really good. And while I was doing this layout, honestly, I didn't have photos for it. And then we had this tremendous snowfall here, and it was just perfect for this layout and this paper collection. So let's start with the left page. And I'm going to show you a couple of tips on how to assemble this one. This here is from the sticker sheet, and I just added a little bit of glitter because we all know we love glitter. And then I've got my little cluster here of trees and stickers and die cuts. I've got my photo. Isn't that matching perfectly? And that just happened last week. So for the tree, when you start assembling your tree, let me just take some of these embellishments off. The easiest thing to do, I'm just going to move these over. The easiest thing to do is start right here at the bottom, and you're going to start 1/2 inch from the bottom. I did use my straight edge ruler, and I wanted to make sure that my trees were nice and straight, because we all know if we start crooked, everything else is going to be crooked. This is the first row right here at the bottom, and then I'm just going to add my other little trees. And I know that these are going to be straight. Now, I did trim this one because originally when I stamped it, it was a little bit off. So I'm going to double check that everything is nice and straight. And then I'm going to pull this one down and add the little tree topper. So I just wanted to walk you through how to assemble this tree. It's super, super cute. And I have to give credit to Pamela, one of our fellow Close to My Heart makers. I wanted to incorporate this really beautiful tree design that she created. So thank you, Pamela, for the inspiration. I'm going to go ahead and assemble this page, and then we're going to continue on to the right side. All right, I've gone through the process of adhering all of these pieces down, and I really, really like how this turned out. So for this side here, I'm going to do the very same thing. Now you can see here that these photos are full 4x6, and I contemplated giving them a little white border, but because this is really light, I don't think it makes a difference. So these are the full size 4x6, and then I did shrink this one down. So the easiest thing to do at this point, I'm going to move my little embellishments. I'm going to adhere down the first 2 photos. And then this one here is going to overlap just a tiny little bit, not a lot actually. And I did mount this one with fun foam. Same thing for this one here. I like to use that because I find that when I use double-sided tape, it kind of warps a little bit after time. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my T-ruler, and I'm going to make sure that everything is nice and straight. I'm going to start with my photos, and then I'm going to fuss around with the embellishments right here. Let's take a look at the completed layout. I'm going to give you a close-up look right here. I did add some gold splatters right here on this page. I added a few tags and lots of embellishments. And, you know, although these are really cute pictures and the snow was gorgeous, I love the snow in December. But after December, I'm done with it. I'd rather go somewhere nice and warm. But definitely these photos lended themselves to all of these products that I hadn't used quite just yet. Don't forget to watch all of the videos from the girls. We are posting a video a day this week to share inspiration from things we have in our stash. Well, that's it for me today. I hope you've picked up a few helpful tips here. If you did, don't forget to hit the subscribe and like button. If you want to catch up on all of the videos that the creative design team has put out this week, click on the playlist right here on the right. Have yourself a fantastic day. Bye for now.